All right, let's see. It looks like some people are joining us. Good morning. Good afternoon, depending on where you are.
Yeah. Hi. As you join us, if you want to go ahead and put where you're joining us from in the chat, we'd love to see where everybody is joining us from.
Yes. We're all happy and excited that you could join us for this workshop, and hopefully it'll be helpful for you all. Just give it a few minutes for people to join.
Oh, great. We have Joaquin from Argentina. Welcome, Joaquin. Demi is here from the Netherlands. Great. Dina from Germany. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Eddie from France.
Mexico. Hi, Andrea. Finland. We've got a good mix.
Yes. England, Missouri. Great.
Very nice.
Dubai. Wow, this is awesome. Netherlands, Belgium. Awesome.
Welcome, everyone.
Samuel from Norway.
South Korea. Hi.
Wow, this is great. What a great crowd. We have a few folks here from the Netherlands, seems like. Mariana's got training from Mexico. Great. Christina from Spain. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Looks like we're going to have a pretty packed webinar. We've got a lot of folks registered, which is great to see. So we're going to give it one more second to let folks join. Seems like a lot of folks are still joining every minute, so we'll give it another minute or two. And then we're going to get it started. We're so excited to see you all here. If you just joined us, feel free to enter into the chat where you're joining us from, and we'll give you a little shout out. All right. Oh, cool.
Africa.
Africa. That's cool. That's great. All right. Well, I think we're gonna get it started. Let me. All right, welcome everybody. My name is Rachel Dorfman-Tanlick. I'm our Director of Enrollment Management here at ISEP.
And my name is Heather Schloss. I'm the Student Services Officer for the United Kingdom, Ireland, and Oceania, and I also advise on our internship programs. We're excited to have you all here today and to walk through our application process. Essentially, what we're going to cover today is each component of the application itself and how to complete the ISEP application. We'll share some strategies on how to create a competitive application and some tips we may offer to help you in the process. We will also review some hidden gem programs that you may have not considered, but could be a really great fit for you academically and for your personal interest for your program. And then at the end, we're going to review our entire Student Services Officer team and have a chance to break out into smaller meeting rooms where you can meet with the Student Services Officer for your primary region of interest. So wherever you want to go, we'll have our Student Services Officer online, and you'll be able to meet with them and discuss any questions you may have about the region or about the application process as well. So looking forward to meeting with you all there too. But to start off, so some of you may know, but ISEP is a nonprofit organization, and our mission is to make the life-changing experience of studying abroad and interning and volunteering abroad accessible and affordable for everyone. Our programs are meant to be immersive and authentic and really focus on intercultural exchange and engagement with your host communities. And like we like to say that students live like locals. So we really want you to understand the local community and feel like you are a part of that community for your time abroad, whether that's a semester, a summer, a full year. So in order to provide these fantastic programs for you, we do promise you some components and support opportunities for your program. All ISEP students will receive comprehensive health insurance and 24/7 emergency services during your program, as well as the continued contact with your student services officer. So whether you're in the application phase or whether you're on program, you'll have a student services officer to contact if you need anything. We also have on-site health facilities and support services at your host universities in the event you need any help or assistance while you're on site. Many of our locations in our universities also offer single occupancy housing. So if you're interested in that, please let us know and we'll be happy to look into that opportunity for you and find locations that do offer that. But we also do have some policies in place to protect you and try to keep you your opportunities open for studying abroad. So in the event that a program is canceled or if you're unable to participate in your program because of a travel advisory warning, we do have options for you in order to continue with the study abroad option. Essentially, we could find another program for you that is still running and still available, or we could defer your placement to a later term, or we could offer a full refund of the placement fee. So we do try to remain flexible and adaptable. We know that the past few years have definitely been unprecedented, but we're trying to give as many options as possible in order to get you abroad and safely on program. So how does it work? Basically, we have two main types of study abroad programs, one being ISEP Direct and the other being ISEP Exchange. For ISEP Direct programs, students are going to pay a preset program fee, and these programs often have more flexible options for housing and meal accommodations at your host university. For direct programs, your placement can be guaranteed at a specific location as long as you meet the academic requirements. So if there's a specific site that you know you want to go to, ISEP Direct is a great option for you. On the other hand, ISEP Exchange is a program where you can pay your home university's cost of tuition, meals, and housing, just like you normally would for a semester at your home university. Students applying to exchange programs can list up to 10 programs and rank them in order of your preference on your application. And then our team will do our best to place you at one of the highest ranked programs possible on your list. But the placement will depend on the program rankings that you've outlined and the space available at each of those locations. And we'll talk a bit more about some strategies for creating a competitive placement later. So how to apply? You can do this on our website by creating an account. You'll also, once you create an account, you'll see the contact information for your coordinators at your home university where you're currently enrolled, as well as your student services officer. And we definitely recommend that you meet with your on-campus ISEP coordinator as they can outline the specific application process for your home university and any questions that you may have on their end. We also have our student services officers where you can meet with us one-on-one and discuss any questions you may have about programs, courses, or the application itself. And you can either email us or book appointments with us.
Great, thanks, Heather. So now that we've talked a little bit about who ISEP is and what we do, we want to learn a little bit about you all. So we're going to launch our first poll here. So where do you want to study? Where are you most interested in studying abroad? And we'll give you a few seconds to answer this. Want to see where everyone's interested in going. Bunch for Asia, for US, we see some Europe, some UK and Australia. Those folks would be with Heather.
Yes. And students may be open to different sites. This is just for your primary interest. What would be your top choice if you could right now?
Great. All right. Looks like we've got almost everybody's answered here.
Wonderful.
So we'll share those results. Looks like a lot of folks interested in the US. So that's awesome. Great. good amount of interest in Asia, some Europe, some UK. Cool.
Wonderful.
Yes. And then for our next question, we want to learn where you are in the application process. Obviously, we're going to talk about the application process today, but we wanted to see where you all are at. So we're going to launch this poll. Give you a few seconds to answer here. Great. Wow, it's looking pretty even between haven't started, just started, and almost done.
Wow, it's a good mix.
Yeah.
And even if you've already completed a good portion of the application, it's always good to kind of double check and see our recommendations as well.
Yes, definitely. Okay. Wow, pretty even. So I'll put those results up there. Yeah, pretty even in terms of haven't started, just started, and almost done. Great. So with that, we are going to get into learning a little bit more about our application process. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to submit an ISEP application. Really, the first step is to go to our website, isep.org, and click the login button at the top of the home page. From there, you're going to be asked to create an ISEP account. Some of you may have already done this, so this might be kind of repeated information for some of you. But you'll be asked to sign up with your email and be sure to indicate your primary region of interest here, because that will let us pair you with the student services officer who will be best able to assist you, most knowledgeable about your region of interest. Once you've created your account and you're logged in, this is what you'll see on your ISEP dashboard. So we really want to draw your attention to all the people who are here to help you throughout the ISEP process. That's kind of the first thing you'll see. You'll see the contact information for your ISEP coordinators at your home institution. And then you'll also see the contact information for your ISEP student services officer. Again, also on your dashboard, under the enrollment section, you'll see the button for application. If you click that, that will be where you can begin your ISEP application. So once you click that application button there, one of two things will happen, and this will depend on your home university's settings. Either you'll have a button there to start your application, or it'll ask you to request permission. If you need to request permission, that request will go to your home university ISEP coordinator, or the person listed under your contacts under your ISEP coordinators for your home university. So that request will go to them. They'll be asked to approve your request to begin an ISEP application. If it says start application, you can just go ahead, start your application, and get it moving into the next step. Once you start your application, you'll see here there's a big button in orange that says edit. You'll use that to begin your application, make changes to your application. You don't have to submit your application all in one go. You'll be able to work on parts of it, come back to it. So you can always use that edit button to log in and continue making changes to your application before it's submitted. You also can click view your remaining steps to see what's left for you to do before you submit your application. We have a YouTube video on how to start an ISEP application that walks you through each of these steps. So we'd encourage you to check that out, and we'll send out these slides after the presentation, and it's linked there if you want to take a look at that YouTube video. Adding programs to your application would be the next step. And I think Heather's going to talk about that.
Yes. So once you've gained access to your application and you're in it, the first step will be to begin adding programs to that program list and begin ranking them. So you can do this by selecting the search for more programs link on this page, and then you'll be able to add them to your application. And we do have a video as well on how to do that we can share. But once you select that button, it's going to open up our ISEP program finder. So program finder is going to provide a lot of different filter options and search options based off your interest, your field of study, when you want to study abroad, if there's a specific region or country that you're interested in. It'll help you start narrow down those options and find programs that are a really great match for you academically and for your personal interests as well. There are lots of advanced filters, so if you have any questions about those, feel free to let your student services officer know, but it's a good way to really find those programs that are best fit for you. And we do have a video on how to use our program finder as well that I'll drop into the chat. So once you're in the program finder and you've added all the search criteria that you're interested in, you'll hit apply filters, and then the search criteria that meet, or the programs that meet that criteria, will show up at the bottom. Once you find a program that you're interested in, you can select that specific program, like Study in Buenos Aires, and that'll open up the program page for that university. Once you're on our program page, they're all going to be structured fairly similarly, but you can scroll down to the bottom of the page and you'll see the different terms that are available. For example, the fall semester of 2022 here. If you want to add this program to your application, there's going to be a button on the right-hand side that says Add to Application, or you can save it for later. If you save it for later, it's kind of like an Amazon wish list where you can just keep it basically as a note on your application, but it's not fully added to your program list. So you may want to talk to your advisors about it or just think about it a bit more before you formally add it. And that's a way to keep a note of it that you're interested in that program. But you'll have both options once you select that term.
Great. So once you've created a program list, you'll go in and start adding the field or fields of study where you hope to take coursework, and also the language that you hope to take your coursework in if that university offers coursework in more than one language. If you can't find the field of study you need at that university, it may not be available, so you may need to either look at other options or you can contact your student services officer with questions about what's available at that site. After you've added your academics, you go into the documents section. So in terms of the documents that you'll need to submit, the first one is going to be an official transcript from your home university. This will need to be official, but you can request a copy and upload it yourself. If you have any questions about uploading your transcript, you can always ask your student services officer for help. The next thing that you'll need if you're submitting an application on ISEP Exchange is an academic reference. If you're submitting on ISEP Direct only, you would not need to submit an academic reference. But if you're submitting on Exchange, what you'll do is you'll enter your professor's email into the Request an Academic Reference box, and our application system will send them a form where they can submit their letter of recommendation. You can request from multiple professors, but you only need one to submit. So if they respond quickly and submit, then you're all set. In addition, if you're applying for a university where the language is different from your home language, you may be prompted to submit a language evaluation that's completed by a professor, or maybe a writing sample. If you have a language exam, such as a TOEFL or an IELTS, that will come later on in the eligibility section. We'll talk about that in a moment. But this is where you might be asked to submit a language evaluation from a professor. You can also check, there may be other documents that you're asked to submit. You can always check that under other academic conditions and the programs that you're interested in. So next up comes our eligibility section. So in this section, you'll enter your academic level when you're going to be abroad. So for example, if you'll be a sophomore or second year student or a junior, third year student, senior, fourth year student, etc. Your language level here will populate automatically from your language evaluation if you did have to submit a language evaluation. This is also the place where you'll verify your eligibility. So you'll click that big click to verify the above qualification. And if you have an English language test, this will be the place to upload that, enter your scores, etc. Next comes the biography section. So in this section, you're going to be asked to enter your passport info and upload a copy of your passport. You'll also be asked to enter information such as your address, i.e. where we might need to send you any visa paperwork, things like that. If you don't have a passport yet when you're applying, that's okay, don't worry. You can select no for passport and submit your application anyways, and then send us the passport later and we can add it to your application later. But if you don't have a passport yet, we do suggest that you start applying for it immediately because sometimes they can take a bit of time. Last is our other section. This is the section where you could submit anything else we'll need to know when making our placement. So any special needs, which can include extra time on exams, special medications, special support services you receive at your home institution, things like that. It's always best to submit this information here so we can make sure that your host will be able to meet all of your needs. And it's a little bit more difficult for us if we find out about these things after your placement. It's always easier if we know before so we can make sure that wherever you're going to be placed can meet all of your needs. Finally, we go through the submission process. So once your application is complete, you will go back to your enrollment dashboard. You'll hit submit and send it to your ISEP coordinator. Your ISEP coordinator will then review the application and approve on behalf of your home university. Then it will come back to you. If your setting is that you pay the application fee, it will come back to you and you'll click on invoices and payments, make a payment, and you'll pay your $100 application fee. Only after this application fee is paid is your application fully submitted. For some of you, you may not have to pay the application fee if your university pays it on your behalf, but always make sure you log in and check on that. All right, now we're going to talk about strategies for a competitive application.
Wonderful. Yes, so something important to note about each of our programs is that each program will be assigned a specific chance of placement. These can range from excellent to most competitive, depending on the location and the amount of space that we typically have at that university for exchange students. Specific placements, as we mentioned previously, cannot be guaranteed on exchange because there is a limited amount of space available at each site. The only way to guarantee your placement at a particular location is to apply through an ISEP direct program. That being said, we recommend listing at least 3 to 5 programs on ISEP Exchange that you would be willing and excited to attend. For each term, you're welcome to list up to 10 programs, but we recommend at least 3 to 5 as a good minimum to start with. When creating your list, please note that students can only include one program that is most competitive, and it would need to be listed as your first choice program. If you add multiple or most competitive programs lower down on your list, you will not be considered for those programs due to this requirement. So if you have a most competitive program, make sure it's ranked as your number 1. And if you need any help finding other programs that interest you, definitely let your student services officer know and we can help with your search. But in general, we also do recommend that students have at least 1 to 2 programs with a good or better chance of placement. And this strategy just gives you a few options on your application that typically do have a good amount of space available and increases the likelihood of an overall successful placement rather than just listing very limited and competitive sites.
Heather, we're getting a lot of questions in the chat about the timing of your submission. So I think maybe we could stop and talk about that a little bit.
Yes.
So for students who are applying on exchange for the summer, fall, or full year, our priority deadline is March 1st. So that'd be for programs starting in May or September or August. Our priority deadline is March 1st if you're applying on exchange. If you're applying on direct, you can check our direct deadlines list and it'll show you also on each program page when that deadline is, but they all start after March 1st. So if you're basically all applications that are received by March 1st are considered equally, or on March 1st are considered equally. You don't get a priority by submitting your application earlier. Everything received by March 1st has an equal chance of getting the placement that they want.
And just to clarify, if you were to submit an application after March 1st, that will be subject to availability after our first placement round has been completed. So we definitely recommend that you submit by that deadline so that you're included in that first round and have the best chance of getting one of those top choice spots or one of those competitive programs that you list on your application. But there's some programs we can accept applications later. It'll just be subject to availability.
Great. And with that, we're going to continue on making a good list.
Yes, so a few tips that we definitely recommend for applications is to diversify your program list. Our team is definitely happy to help you expand your search, but trying to find programs that maybe are outside the region that you were originally interested in, or looking for programs that definitely highlight the academics that you want. We recommend having a good mix of programs, and we always say a flexible application is a competitive one. So by having a good mix of programs, you give yourself a good mix of options for us to choose from and try to choose the highest ranked program for you. Like we said, ISEP Direct is the only way to guarantee your spot on a program. So especially if you're interested in a very competitive site, or if you want to know exactly where you're going when you're submitting an application, ISEP Direct is a great option for you. And if you have any questions about those programs, definitely let your student services officer know. On each of the program pages, we'll also have a course description section, which will have links to previous course catalogs where you can see the classes that have been offered previously. So it'll give you a good idea of the types of classes that are usually available and see if they meet your needs for the semester you want to go abroad. We also recommend that you talk to your home ISEP coordinators about applying financial aid to your programs. And now most financial aid can be applied to your ISEP exchange programs, just like it normally would if you were studying on campus. But we would need to confirm with your home university what types of aid could be applied to an ISEP Direct program, and they'd be the best contact to ask about that question. And again, saving for later, that can give you an option to keep tabs on the programs that you're interested in, or maybe you want to follow up on or have as backup options if you want to discuss more with your advisors. So utilize that tool and continue to expand your search or keep up backup options with that option. And now we have some hidden gem programs that we want to highlight to you that we think could be a really great option for a lot of you. Internationally, two programs that we want to highlight are the University of Ghana in Ghana. And this program is fantastic because it has so many different fields of study available to exchange students. There's also a lot of really great experiential opportunities for you on campus and in the local community through volunteering and independent studies, research projects, internships, excursions, and the TWE language course. There is a supplemental application required for this program, but if you have any questions about that, just let your student services officer know. We also have Universitat Pompeu Fabra in Barcelona, Spain. This is a fantastic location and fantastic program in a beautiful location, just blocks away from the famous Barceloneta beach. Opportunities for volunteering and service learning are also available at this site. And there is coursework in English available in a wide variety of fields of study. We also have a dedicated on-site resident director. So if it's just an added layer of on-site support in addition to the standard on-site coordinator for all our programs, having a resident director is really special if you do want just a little bit of support and a resident director on site. So that's another great option for you to consider. In the US, two programs you want to share are Warren Wilson College and Hendrix College. Warren Wilson is in North Carolina, and this university has a really strong tradition of community engagement and addressing social and environmental justice issues. So if those are topics that are interesting to you, this could be a really great site. There is also on campus employment opportunities. So if that's important to you or a future that you want to have while you're studying abroad, this is a great recommendation as well. It's located in the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains, and a lot of exploring is available in that setting as well, hiking and just a lot of outdoor access. But again, that's great for a wide variety of fields of study that we've indicated here, and we have the language requirements as well. HENDRIX College is in Arkansas, and this university is great because there are smaller class sizes, so you get a lot of personalized attention and individual attention with your professors. It's also great for outdoor explorers and outdoor sports. The university is also close to the state capitol, so there's lots of arts and culture and events happening in the community nearby. It has great science labs and a performing arts center, so really kind of something for everyone depending on your interest. That this university has a great student experience and kind of social aspect of the university as well, and you can see the fields of study and the language requirements for that university too. All right, so who to contact for help? We will now introduce our Student Services Officers team, and we'll have the opportunity for you to meet with a Student Services Officer that advises for your specific region of interest or your top choice for your region of interest. So we'll introduce each of these Student Services Officers one by one, and then they'll drop their link into the chat for their private Zoom call. So you can just join that call once their link has been shared. And we'll have Rachel stay on this call too. If you have any questions or issues accessing those calls, you can always rejoin here and she can redirect you as well. But to start, we have Grace Glancy, and Grace is our Student Services Officer for Northern and Central Europe. So if you're interested in going to Northern or Central Europe, Grace will drop her link here and you can join that call.
Grace, do you want to go ahead and drop your link in the chat, and we'll let everybody join your session if they're interested in Northern or Central Europe? Great. So Grace's link is there. For the next one, I'm actually going to jump around. If you're interested in studying in the United States, I'm going to ask Gretchen to drop her link in the chat, and you can go meet with Gretchen and Joe. We'll let folks have a second to go there. So if you're interested in the US, go ahead and click on the link that Gretchen just put in the chat, and you can ask her some US specific questions. Great. Next, if you're interested in studying in Asia, Africa, or the Middle East, we're going to ask Rachel Brown to put her link in the chat, and you can go join Rachel's breakout room. Great. Next, we'll ask Kira to put her link in the chat. If you're interested in studying in Southern Europe or the Americas, Latin America, or Canada, you can join Kira's breakout room. Last but not least, if you're interested in the UK, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, or Fiji, you'll be meeting with Heather, and we'll have Heather put her link in the chat. And you can go join Heather's room. I'll stay on to help anybody if you're having difficulty finding the room you need. The United States one, sure. I'll put the US one in the chat again. If you want to go to the US, I just put that in the chat again. Anybody else missing a link? You can go ahead and chat which link you're looking for, and I'd be happy to re-enter it into the chat.